Good evening. You are listening live to the Extreme Movie Show. I am your host, Rob, broadcasting to you from sunny Central Florida. I am in the Extreme Studios just west of Orlando, Florida. Here with me tonight from the Great Midwest, I've got on the Extreme Hotline, RDV from the Great Midwest. We are going to be continuing our discussing as we've been doing here on these Miami nights, Sunday nights here in 2026. Miami Vice Season 1, Episode 13, Golden Triangle, Part 1 and Part 2 will be next week. And RDV, I got to tell you, this episode took me by surprise. We're about halfway through the season, a little bit more than that. I feel like it's kind of found its footing. We've had some Cop of the Week episodes, but this one, honestly, about 30, 40 minutes in, I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be kind of campy and all that. Then, boom, they kind of changed the tone and everything like that. AKA, this is where we get to see Castillo really come into bloom.
Two-part Castillo backstory with him. More in the second episode, which will be episode 14 next week. But it's not only that, they still keep the campiness because remember this is season 1. They're kind of leaning into the season 2 kind of vibes, but they still have that dark vibe because they want to give Castillo more about him, which is I'm actually looking more forward to that because Castillo's been like Crockett, quiet like this. This time we get to actually see him doing a foot chase, getting in a fight. Learn that this guy knows karate and like judo and stuff.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. He's served it, and I believe it was it Korea, right?
Well, yeah, but he was stationed. Well, we'll go
talk about
there's some
because Crockett, who's younger than him, was in Nam. They reveal later that he served in Nam.
Korea before that.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like he's probably like early, probably Vietnam too. Is this? I'm wondering if he's like 10 years older than Crockett at this point. Yeah,
and nobody talks Korea like they've always talked Nam, and we mentioned that before,
sure,
streams and all that too. Here in Central Florida, growing up as a child in the 70s and a teenager in the 80s when the show was live, it was interesting because I remember some people in school. We had a small Vietnamese Thai contingent of people, Central Florida is extremely diverse, even more so now. It's a majority minority, if you want to call it that. Before it wasn't, but it is now. And back then, you would hear about everything too. So, like we mentioned before, when Crockett and Tubbs talk about stuff with Vietnam and all that, that coming to the forefront in television writing and audiences and backstories of main characters and all that too. I think Hollywood kind of didn't like that in television shows because Vietnam was the one where people like to say the government wouldn't let us win and all that. And I'm not trying to be political in the sense that was just something that became in the general consensus in the 80s because we have this Reaganism going on and everybody, like I say, in 84, you got to understand, just the amount of patriotism going on here after the Olympics and everything here. We're talking like we got another year or so.
Well, the economy is starting to pick up too.
Yeah, and people having fun and all that too. So, paying attention to the people that were in Vietnam and World War II, especially here, that's fine. And Korea's one of the forgotten ones here too. But we have Castillo to talk a lot about it, and we will as we get towards it. Why don't you get us started with as the episode gets going? Let's move our slides, sir.
Also, if you guys have already haven't hit the like button or even subscribe to our channel, you may not like what we're talking about now, but we do review other TV shows and movies and all that stuff. I noticed we had quite a people popping up on the vertical, which we're also live on horizontal stream as well on YouTube. We do a lot of TV shows, movies, and pretty much everything 80s, Hong Kong, American, 90s, even some early 2000 martial arts stuff. So you may not like the show we're talking about now, but if you want to see more of this, go check our channel, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell, get more mobile alerts and stuff like that. But getting this is episode 13 of Miami Vice. So far we've gone 12. We've done 12 episodes. Technically only 11 because Brothers Keeper was split into 2. Yep. And now we're getting into the halfway in the middle of the season almost. Yep. And we're going to learn more about the characters. Not a lot of Zito in this episode, but that's enough. He gets a small little part here, which I love about this. We started off though. We already know. Okay, wait. What's wrong with this picture? We have Castillo. Castillo's not in the office. He's on the field.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is different here. We're getting a little bit Castillo, and we're starting to see 80s more like culture stuff. The old coolers and stuff like that. On Miami, you had this where people would just open up the garage door and this is their shop, a little corner shop they'd have on the beach.
I'm assuming now I might be wrong, so I'm speaking generalities here. You everybody always kind of like moved in the same neighborhoods. That's why, like in New York, you'd have your Italian section, you have your Catholic section, your Polish section, your whatever. So races and or ethnicities, right? Because those are different. And so this, I'm assuming, is Cuban, because I think he's ordering a.
It looks like Los Prados, and then it's
because Cubans has a strong contingent there, as well as Puerto Rican, and now, of course, there's Haitian and Mexican and everything else there too. But
sure,
this should tell you right off the bat, watching it, that you're right. Castillo's not in the office. I love this because, in terms of watching television, this is a little slice of Miami life as it was at the time, mid '80s. With you look in the background, that's what it looks like. It looks like
look at the flag right above.
Exactly.
He tells you. And what's great about this too, it looks like it must have been an old Marlboro man sticker or something like that.
That's exactly right there. And see how they look like they ripped out Marlboro there.
Yeah. So I like that too. It's like it's of this, and then of course the old-fashioned Igloo. Remember the brand?
Yes.
Water cooler on the left.
That's true. That's a good call.
Yeah, and it looks like
stick cigarettes like they have up there in the back there. That was
right. and hey, there's no giant plexiglass behind them.
No, just right. No,
why? Because these guys probably had a gun underneath the counter. Who knows? But so I like this. Castillo's, is always in his nice suit there. He's got a little, pointed tip in shoes up, and he's hanging out with the guys. We cut to this. We go to Crockett, who goes undercover, and he meets this girl who walks around. Her name's Candy. And what's great about this thing is John Hammer gave her own music throughout the episode. Where they show her, it's called Candy, and it's really good instrumental. I was like, dang, there's actually, you can find it on YouTube, the whole freaking thing too, which is kind of cool for the song. So this girl right here, she is a prostitute. She's going to go ahead on our buddy here.
High-class escort. There's levels.
Yes. She sees Poindexter over here, pretty much. His skull neck, almost kind of like a.
I can't buy this at all.
Yeah, Crockett is a nerd with glasses. And so I want to bring up this. The girl who we have here, her name was Robin Johnson. For those who grew up in the 80s, 4 years prior to this, you probably knew who she was, because this little known movie called Times Square just blew up out of nowhere. It starred Tim Curry and Trini Alvarado. If you don't know who that is, Trini Alvarado played the love interest of Michael J. Fox in the movie Frighteners.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and she was also in Little Woman. She was also in Stella, which is, I guess, moved in 1990. That was her big thing. But Frighteners was her big thing. She was like, "Oh, that's the Andy McDowell kind of look like," But so Times Square was a big. I was looking it up. I mean, I don't know if you've heard of this movie before, but every time I look it up, and they said it was just like, it was almost like Laverne and Shirley, something, or not Laverne and Shirley, but what's the name of the two girls that drive off the cliff? I forget what it's called, but
Driving Miss Daisy, those girls, or whatever.
The two lesbians that make a pact and drive out there after killing people, and they drive off.
Lesbian suicide movies.
Oh, you watch those? Oh, those are the best. So her and Trini Lovato did a movie called Times Square, which is basically two teenage girls form a punk band and pretty much take over this theater called Times Square and go up there and basically want to make their own track up there. It's kind of like that's popular as the more popular movie coming later was called Legend of Billie Jean.
Right.
But it was right up there as far as that. It has a 6.6 out of 10, which is really good for a really indie movie. A young Tim Curry's in this too. And I was just looking, I was like, wow. Peter Caulfield, and David Margulies. But
the thing with Curry is he when they made the movie Rocky Horror Picture Show in '75, and that became like a cult classic and all that too. In the '80s, what happened is that movie started playing a lot because he was in a movie I think a year earlier or maybe earlier in this year. Well, I guess this was '85. This episode, January. He was the one called Clue, and so he was a name, and people that really loved the theater and all that stuff, they knew who Tim Curry was because of that. And here in Central Florida, we had a couple different places you could go see the live Rocky Horror show where they would act all out and they'd throw rice.
So this
They don't really do that much anymore.
So this is the movie right here. You may recognize some of it. You know,
see, this was not a popular thing back in the day, at least in my circles.
It came like almost like an indie thing, kind of not as big as Rocky Horror Picture Show, but
yeah,
you'll come across people say like, I saw this, and there's a lot of stories. It just said it never became huge, but it has a following, which is kind of crazy about that.
Sure.
Now the thing about Robin Johnson, and I'll show you again. This is what she looks like, and then now this is more her headshot she has here. Does that look like any famous or any celebrity today that you can think of?
I assume you're looking for the answer of no.
Okay, I'll give you a dead ringer. Kate McKinnon.
From
Ghostbusters, from Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
Yes.
I can see it. See it.
Yeah, I was like, holy crap. just the odds of that. I was like, dang. So anyway, getting back to what we're talking about, the next slide we have here is her. This is the last slide I have of Robin Johnson. She was also in After Hours.
Oh God!
Another fantastic movie.
I would see these out at Denny's at midnight after.
She was the angry punk girl. Yeah, I love it. But no. All right, so we go back to basically. They want to use Candy to because she talks about these cops over there that are basically that are hiring people, girls and stuff at the hotel. So Crockett sets up as a security guy working at the hotel. There's like a little security box there, a little vault thing, and he's trying to get this guy named by the actor Ron Snyder, and I forget what the other guy is. There's a Chinese guy, lure him in and stuff.
Total no-name guys.
Yeah,
the most no-name two pair of guys. So here's the thing: these guys are no name. I'm going, okay, this is going to be campus. So because we see right even before the opening credits, they're working with security at the hotel, and some dude's high on PCP. So I'm thinking they're introducing a PCP angle, right, rather than cocaine, because the guy's there and he's shirtless and he's got a girl that's there and they're yelling, screaming. He's bitching at her about not baking cakes and cookies and stuff or whatever like that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of silly or whatever like that, but he talks him down. You're like, okay, this is a little different. Get to see him, cop powers in action.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the girl fucks up by running down and smacking him, and then they arrest him and all. Then they run it. But the point is they were meeting Castillo over the coffee because he's like, you need to keep working. I don't care. These aren't cops. Yeah. I want them all. So he's basically saying, no, we're not just going to send this to IA. We really need to do it. So
yes,
they basically got Candy to basically work for them.
Candy, because basically Castillo came in while they're interrogating. She knew, like, hey, why aren't you? I've been here locked up, before. It's like, you guys want something. She says, well, you erase my whole record, and I'll bring in those cops and whoever's bumping off these girls. And
record. What does Castillo say? Deal.
right. Yeah, because so now this, I said Crockett is working as the basically undercover, working as the guy who runs with new security bots and stuff. And on the side, we have Trudy, Gina, and now Candy, Charlie's Angels, but prostitutes on these lounges, chase lounges by the poolside. And we have Zito coming up as a possible customer. And I love it. So he goes over, he has like, and Zito goes, oh my God, look at the girls, and he looks over and he's like, like the one on the end, of course, is Judy, or not Judy, but Gina. And so Gina stands up, and I love this, how basically Tubbs get this. I love Tubbs. He always gets these like little one-liners. I love it. He's such a smooth guy, more so than Crockett is. He says to Gina, and so he's like, we better hurry up because Zito gets off in a half an hour. and I just love it because she said something back to him. And he's like, she's like, anything for you? He's like, oh, I love that. It's like I get used to that. I love
this because two things. One, they're talking about when these guys getting ready to approach him. He's filing Elvis's nails.
Yeah, his nails.
Right? That's what it is. Because it's a little bordery because it's capturing motion. But if you look to the left of Elvis's snout, you see the rail there right above the blue stripe there, the flat part.
Yeah.
I was watching this and I've got like the Blu-ray and I'm looking at it. I'm like, and I don't know if the version is that clear.
Looks like bird poop.
But you can see when they're talking, if you're looking over there, you can see where the drops are coming there. So you get these rains in the afternoon but sometimes you don't like a hard rain or whatever. But I'm like, wow, they're filming this in the rain here too, with the two guys coming up, because they're basically like, hey, you got that hookers.
Yeah.
We want to talk a deal, come check us out in a little bit. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, the Blu-ray, man, I'm so impressed with how great this print looks. I wish there was more shows that were, done this way. Fantastic.
So the guys, the two guys basically who are they're gonna rob. They want to rob the vault thing. Show up to Crockett and talk to Crockett, talks to them, and the guy, and then they get spotted talking to Candy and stuff. Then he realized, how about and then of course the two former retired cop officers that Candy says they are come up and interrogate her and try to give her a shakedown. Crockett and Tubbs listen to this. They rush over there and help her out. And then the guy's already gone before they get there, and she's all distraught. She doesn't want to do this anymore. Because they thought they were actually going to kill her, And so then the guys, the Chinese guy, and the other bad guy, end up talking to the former cop and stuff, And he says, "Well, yeah, my buddy says you guys are cops." And he's like, "Really? You're going to trust the old bum over there?" So as they go to leave, the guy doesn't want to take the chance, and he goes and talks to the Crockett and stuff. He's like, "Hey, I made a mistake," And Tubbs gives him like, "Hey, fine, we'll do it. What do you need?" And that's what he reveals. He wants to rob the whole hotel thing.
So what this reminded me of? Seriously,
what's that?
They're not going with PCP. It doesn't seem like,
mm-hmm.
or the prostitute angle. Like they're going to drop some big pimp on the streets or whatever like that, and they're big pimping. So it's not that Thief, because the guy wants to. He's checking out the security thing that they're there. They need the guy to turn his back so his boy can come in and check out the security stuff. They're going to rub all the safe deposit boxes. It turns out we're like that. And so we're like, okay, it's a heist. Okay, I get it. Reminded me of Thief. So I was not expecting what happened here at the end as we get to that.
No, because it's called the Golden Triangle because right now there's three things going on at once. Well, the reveal to the third thing.
Yeah, I like your play on that because obviously it refers to the China, Vietnam, Philippines, or like that area of drugs back in the time.
I thought Golden Triangle was like a Chinese restaurant. No, not bad.
That was Dakota off of Highway 50 here in town, sir. Machine, our major arcade.
So I want to real quick before we get further in the story. Film implications. That's always cool about this. They're at the Key Biscayne Hotel, which is on Ocean Drive.
Mm-hmm.
They did some of that, They also they're at the Turnberry Isle condominium, Adventura, for the pool scenes and stuff of that. Then they're over at the Mako Park, which is basically Maximo Gomez Park. So if you're around in Miami over there, you're gonna recognize a lot of stuff. Then again, they're over on Ocean Drive, when they're when they tell the crooked cops, and then it's just so many little things over there. This High House number 2. Is over when they search for the killer in the restaurant, and just Sunny Days Motel, Wong's Chinese Restaurant, Fu Manchu, and all stuff. It's like I said. So not only this, we get Great Balls of Fire by Dolly Parton playing in the beginning too.
Exactly.
I said this show is just one of a kind. But. So they go next after this. They go talk to the dirty cop, and they end up arresting who's going to flee. But also something else happens.
Dun, 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 dun. Now, if those of you were ninja marks for canon films, the best ninja trilogy of all time, the second movie being the best.
It's Shokusugi.
Well, right, and of course the Master already ran earlier in the year with Lee Van Cleef and the Patton brothers, or so,
right,
driving the pedo van around or whatever like that, looking for something. But look at that! If you didn't catch that, it looks like a ninja outfit, doesn't it?
It does with the hand, wrist, everything.
Exactly. So I'm going again. Ninja Craze was just really, it was just crazy. Octagon, of course, is tremendous. Chuck Norris, check that out.
Still haven't had.
I was going. A part of me honestly thought, because this happens really fast, I thought maybe it's Candy whacking these fools. I mean, I was just having fun with that.
When you just like crap your pants, or just like if the guy threw a ninja star and killed himself using a gun.
Well, the interesting thing here, though, is not really the surprise killing here, the unknown killer. It's the fact that they had gotten undercover. They had to convince the guy's informant that they weren't snitches and all that. So it was a great little fake out. And so these two dudes are like, yeah, we're going to let you know. We're going to do it here soon. That's what they tell Castillo. Then they get a call. The place has been completely robbed, and they're looking out, and they're like, they don't know what for because they've taken everything. And they keep talking about papers. And the thing about it is the two guys here are going through they're going through the spoils of war, if you will, and all that. When they get waxed, they're like, okay, there's something that must be important in those safe deposit boxes. And this is where you said you don't get much of Iggy and Switek in here, but they're talking, and they mentioned a comment about how the one guy had something, and Castillo's just sitting there like, what do you mean? And he explains like the tattoo on the dude. And so he just goes in quietly. Castillo never looks anybody in the eye.
Yeah, he takes the note and he questions why no one told him sooner because he knows, recognizes that cost. So it's like, great.
And when they leave and Crockett closes the door, and he's like, Castillo, what's going on? This is when the episode changes to what it's supposed to be. 2/3, 3/4 of the way in.
Right.
He's talking about it, and he's like, yeah, and this is just really good. This is when just everything changed for me, and it became the episode that it was going to be. Obviously, it's a two-parter, so it doesn't end at a resolution, if you will. It just ends at a breaking point.
I was laughing up because I figured I just remembered where I saw Robin Johnson, MTV's a show called Teen Wolf. She popped up in there randomly.
Oh, wow!
Hey,
here's the thing. Castillo starts to talk a bit more because he goes, okay, these are papers, and instead of money or jewels or something like that, or God forbid, video of people doing indecent things for leverage, it's papers. And what was the most important thing you could get if you were in, not World War II, but if you were, say, in Vietnam? It's citizenship type papers or whatever like that. And this is where it gets interesting. And I'm not going to say anything about that till the end here.
Well,
that's where they go, hey,
Crockett, or not Crockett, or what's his name? Castillo says he's seen the mutilation before.
Yeah,
for his time during the time with the DEA over in Asia.
3 years on the board. I know. Look, I'm being serious. He said, "I served 3 years. I was in the mountains between Burma and Thailand. That is the worst area on the entire planet when it comes to that kind of stuff. It's that bad." When you and I don't remember if we even reviewed this movie yet by Stallone, but we've done a lot of course, the Rockies, but the Rambo one that he did in 2006, 7, 8, that time frame. The most violent and bloody movie I've ever seen. Disgusting. There was a lot of talk about Burma at the time because it's one of the areas nobody wants to go to. So it's not that he just was in Korea. He served on the shittiest place in the planet and had to survive. And he's like, 3 years. And he's like, that's a long time. And he's like, it's a lifetime. It's like, it's like, man, he's not effing around here. And I love it because now we're seeing Castillo become a bit more into his role, right? This is awesome. So this is where they split up, where him and Ricardo drive around to different Asian places trying to see if they can find somebody with a tattoo.
Thai places, yeah.
And then those are the ones you mentioned, and that's what they look like even to this day, right? So he goes in and he speaks Thai to the lady, and they talk a little bit, and they sit down, and he's like, come on, you're gonna make me work for it? You're right. Ricardo's so different when he gets I love him kind of doing it because there's such a difference there, right? And that's, I think, one of the reasons why, of course, they had to split up several more once, but so you could see that out of Castillo.
So it turns out that they affect the assassin. They do flush him out. His name's Boone Freitag, played by Paul Tunn, whatever it is. And well, he was in a movie, 1983 movie called Go For It. He was an uncredited killer, and then he popped him in some other thing in 1990. Other than that, he's the only 3 things he's ever done on camera. So,
and if they had Bolo Young here, I would have popped hard, really, really hard.
So it ends up basically, we found out our quiet boy can fight, and he ends up chasing the guy into an alleyway. He runs and chases after him, and Crockett and Tubbs don't know where he is, and they finally until afterwards, after he basically fights him and defeats the guy, knocks him down. But as they're standing here, it's especially seen right here, you look at it, and he's like, "What the heck's going on here?" He's like, and all of a sudden you hear the guy go, and Castillo's like, "Oh shit!" He's swallowing his tongue. He goes up, tries to hit him in the chest, but the guy had already killed himself.
Love it. I absolutely love it. So
death by gag
at the table, and I was looking at it. One of the slides I have is them sitting at the table because I hate wood, the sensation of wood utensils in my mouth, like chopsticks. So I use plastic. And I said, oh, man, this is exactly. I've been to all these Asian places, and he's not looking at Ricardo. He just takes the linen handkerchief and he's just folding it up there and all that. And he's like, cover the back. Don't forget who we're dealing with. Think about that body in the morgue. And it's like, man, you're firing me up with saying very few things that were like that. Because Ricardo's like, yeah, okay, I get it. And then he slugs Ricardo and runs away. And they were going to get him, but this fight, it's an okay fight. It's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad. And the whole he swallowed his tongue. You're going, oh, this is serious. And at the end, right here, where they go, well, I guess those papers were really important. And they showed some photos of a woman that would be Joan Chen, who would then, of course, later on play in Twin Peaks as the lumber mill operator.
Yep, she comes next episode. Yeah,
you know her? That's my wife. Boom, and the credits.
So he picked him Mei Ying, but turns out he actually there's a goof on that. I think one of the things that what does it say? Where did I see it? Okay, so one of the scenes, the Secret Still reads a package from Lao Lai with a picture of Mei Ying served as opening to the video of Miami Vice theme. He said the picture Castillo was looking at is of Jan Hammer, not Mei Ying.
Okay.
So there's a goof on that though, but and so this is one. It says it's one of the several episodes coming after this where they don't end in the freeze frame, but they end with "to be continued" across the screen. I still like this. Like I said, this was actually pretty good, and of course, is one of the two. When we go back after season 1, we'll have to rank our 2-part storylines.
What was it? Calderon's Return a little while back.
Brother's Keeper.
Yeah. I mean, it sets the tone, right?
This is our third, 2-episode story going on here.
Yeah, it's just this episode to me felt like it was going to be kind of like a drug of the week, prostitute of the week kind of campy thing, have a little fun and not take it too seriously. But when they pivoted about halfway through or so with the mass killer and all that and the thief references, I'm like, I'm checking out mentally, going, yeah, okay, this is like, and I'm not knocking it for the robbery, but the fact that it turned into something better, I'm like, okay, you got me there. A little more Castillo. Okay, take more of my money. All right, I'll put my popcorn down and lean forward and watch it a little bit. And then here at the end, I beats the guy up. And then the swallowing tongue. I remember when I watched this as a kid, I'm like 14, 15 years old at the time. I'm like, that is so cool. Because, being in the ninja stuff and all that with Death Touch and all the stupid stuff, a lot of it's not really
So,
real.
Rob, your assignment, since you live down there, you need to go to Miami and look for China Palace.
I ain't going nowhere down south, bro. Screw that.
You don't have to take a photo yourself because we just take a photo. See, it's me. It's like John Cena, but it's Rob. And
I'm gonna go spend a week up in the Panhandle, aka the redneck Riviera area.
North Miami Beach is Thai House too. China's Palace. And then they got
That was always Golden Pagoda here in Central Florida. It was a solid one here too. And Miss lady from Vietnam that was 70 years old had the best. Pad Thai is always a tough dish to make really, really good, but pho is the name of the broth that they use that you can shave, beef into or shrimp or different things, like the standard. That's like a taco in Mexican fare. It's like you judge a place by its taco or its hamburger or pizza, right? Generally speaking, there's a dish that you do. So, yeah, but Miss Saigon, I mean, just man, what a great place. And she retired, and I thought, wow, she was 80 years old, best cook here in Central Florida at the time. But yeah, overall, man, I tell you, this episode was great because, like I say, we've talked a lot about how great the show looks. We talked about how whether you like the 80s fashion or not, that was real. It wasn't fake. This show was the reason why Miami kind of got a second win in the 90s with a lot of people moving there, because in the late 80s, Florida was pivoting with sports becoming some major sports coming to America, like the Magic. And also, don't forget, Miami was going to get the Miami Heat basketball team. So it was an interesting time because it felt like Florida was an up-and-coming place on the major themes, with sports and everything in America. Not that we were just like some retirement villages, which a lot of people thought about. And that's what you see in Miami, right? But there's a lot of old money there, a lot of drug money, of course, a lot of international money, especially from South America, goes there. So yeah, it's definitely in the 90s with Stallone moving down there and Madonna and others. It was just a big fucking deal. And don't forget Ace Ventura.
Yeah. So there's only one thing about this episode is that even this episode, next episode, the whole robbery caper at the hotel is never revealed or solved.
And do we care?
Yes, I gotta know who did it, who robbed it. No. But anyway, though, next week, well, obviously, it's part 2 of Golden Triangle. This is actually originally this was also known as The Score, but when this went to syndication, they just called it part 1 because it's the same story. But yeah. I was trying to see
compare to some of the others for you. Is this near the top, in the middle, towards the bottom? What do you think?
I think it's okay. I do appreciate because if you're gonna focus or do stuff on as far as Castillo, this is giving me a little bit of like, hey, we're gonna start doing this because as the season continues on, we get more and more stuff. Finally, I think it's by season 2, we get a little more and more about his history in Vietnam.
Yeah.
His skills with a katana.
Yep.
and we would get to see Castillo running around in a Speedo on the beach.
Well, we saw him running around nude and wolfing with Albert Finn.
I know, right?
PCP moment there. That was kind of interesting. That's burned in my mind, unfortunately.
Do you know who's back next week, though?
Who?
Your buddy, Noogie.
Oh, God.
All right, the late Charlie Burnett.
Wow. Look, overall, I mean, I think this is I'm not going to say it's one of my favorite episodes, like I personally that I enjoy it, but I would say it's one of the more important ones, definitely. So, and I think the writing's very, very good. And I think this is because it's a 2-parter. You almost judge it based on how the episode is.
Sure.
Or not.
Yeah, because this is a setup, and there's not really much of a cliffhanger. Really, it's like okay. The meat and potatoes is the second episode.
I made this comment a couple episodes ago where I felt like, okay, they're mid episodes, they're hitting their stride, they're doing their thing. But this episode just feels like the show's been on for a couple years and you kind of know what to expect with each character. It's just a runner would call it a steady state. You've hit your stride, you're just running, you're not, you're cruising time, everything's going good. It's that good of an episode, and just there's a feel to it that's not the sexy feel that we talk about with Miami Vice. A lot of people get enamored with. It's not the whole soulless show. This has the campiness, but it has the seriousness with it too. Not all episodes do, and I think some of the stronger ones are a bit darker, but that usually turns people off because they miss out on the fun part of the episode. So balancing it stuff, they did a good job of that.
I don't mind a darker episode here and there, but when you go the route that Susan Theater did, where they said no more fun, we're just going to go see NYPD Blue, ABC. No, gag me with a spoon.
Well, over the next couple of years, as we continue to do the show, I know we'll do season 2. We'll probably do season 3. We'll see how it goes.
But I want to point out though,
since it's come out, that's how long it's been. So it's not a first watch for me, but it's the first watch after 8 generations. Lifetime.
I'm excited for not next episode, but the episode of that Smuggler Blues.
Oh, Glenn Fry, right?
Yes. Okay. One of my favorite episodes of the series.
Well, I'm glad I turned you on to the show. I'm glad you've got the show, and because it made me go, yeah, that sounds like something we could definitely do.
Yeah, I still say the first 2 seasons are what I've liked. I'm halfway through season 3. Not even Bill Paxton or Wesley Snipes can save that series.
It's a different season, isn't it?
Wow. It's just like a whole different show.
Yeah. Season 2's peak to me.
It's all earth tones, which is a no-no.
Well, we'll talk more about that.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, so I want to thank everybody for showing up tonight. Wednesday night, we normally would be doing our Forever Night episode. Due to some scheduling conflicts, we'll be doing something different, or I'll be doing something different, and then we'll be back the week after. Tuesday night, though, we've got something very special coming up. Last Tuesday, you and I covered Punisher Warzone. The Ray Stevenson version was absolutely freaking fantastic. Tell everybody what we're going to be doing Tuesday night, Punisher related.
Oh, you want to do Punisher? I was going to say Clint Eastwood. We're going to talk about the John Bernthal Wolverine Punisher as he grunts, as he shoots people. And he just happens to shoot people, pick up their gun, and shoot people, pick up their gun. Really, what turned into Uncharted there. Every time you run out of bullets.
Well, of course, One Last Kill, the 50-minute movie. The discussion became about what is Punisher supposed to be, because I don't know stuff like you do. So last week's episode, a lot of people listened to it. It was really interesting hearing what people were saying.
The problem is
character and how it developed. So that's what we're going to do, is compare and contrast the John Bernthal.
So here's the thing.
Real one.
John Bernthal can be a good Punisher. Is that this is the third time they reset back to him being, oh, my wife and my dead kids. Dude, he said to fully became Punisher at the end of season 2, and then by Daredevil Born Again, We see him. Oh, I'm not Punisher. I'm just Frank Castle. I want to kill myself. Blah blah. Drinking, and I'm like, what the fuck is this bullshit? So then at the by end of season 1, he is I'm full on Punisher, and then he's not in season 2 of Daredevil Born Again. Then we see him in this. He's like, I'm not Punisher anymore. I'm done with the wishy-washy bullshit. I'm sorry. And 20 minutes of a 40-minute movie, I'll talk more on this too, is I'll just say this. Half the movie was good or okay. The first half, you can just fast forward through it and just wait till people start running towards the building.
I did like the opening setup, but we'll talk about that Tuesday.
But you know what? I'd rather play Max Payne. Much better game and better than whatever that movie was. A 40-minute pilot. And here's the only thing I'll just say about you. Here's the only thing I'll tell you. MCU Punisher is doomed just for the fact that you have to play by campy rules, and Punisher can't kill. Especially he's going to be going in a Spider-Man movie, so he'll be using rubber bullets and being eliminated by Tom Holland.
Well, I definitely feel there'll be some passion Tuesday night, ladies and gentlemen. Some contributions there in chat. I want to thank some of the people for retweeting out, getting the link out, so our audience continues to grow here. We just talk off the cuff. We don't try to get political or hate watch or that. But I really appreciated the fact that, since I'm not really a comic book guy and all that, how you tell me some stuff. I was talking with Mike, the comic book corner guy that we both know about some of that stuff, and he's like, "Oh yeah," and he was telling me, and he was educating me like you are too. So that's one of the fun things.
5'7" Punisher. I'm sorry. He gets his ass kicked. I don't care if you're a Marine or whatever. You're going to get your ass kicked. He has no muscle on him, too. He's scrawny.
Who?
John Bernthal. They say he's billed as 5'11", but no, dude. You put him next to actual 6'4", or Ray Stevenson.
Ray Stevenson would stomp his ass. But we'll talk about that Tuesday. Let's not give it away. All right. Good night, everybody.
John Bernthal's giving it away. All right, later, guys.
Good night, everybody.